batteries in drones. These lovely things that give it the power to go whee into the sky. Now, some basics. So basically, these things are not to be trusted. It's hard to get it across to people sometimes. There's a bad way to charge these. There's a bad way to look after them. And if you don't look after them, these can take a house out. It's that simple. Don't want to sound alarmist, okay, but these things, right, and this is a mini one, this and this, and even one of these little hobby ones, they could take a house down. And don't want to sound alarmist, but you need to be aware. So, some basic things about batteries. Okay, they are lithium polymer. Okay, so it's a chemical battery. When these go up in a nice little fireball, and they can, it's a chemical fire for around the first 60 seconds. Okay, for the first 60 seconds you cannot do anything about the fire with a Lipo battery. Okay, that's just the way it is. So what you've got to do is control the area around the fire and then hit the battery after about 60 seconds. You have to be brave enough, okay, to let it burn for 60 seconds before you attack the battery. Do not waste your fire extinguisher before then on the battery itself, because if you do, you'll run out and go, oh shit. So that's the alarmist bit out of the way. Okay, that's the alarmist bit. How often do batteries go up? Very rare now. In the early days, you know, they weren't as stable. The quality wasn't there. They've got better. So while the smart batteries like DJI ones are very good, still, when charging these, you need to think about it. Okay, so there's an incorrect way to charge them. Okay, and everyone is guilty of this. Okay. Now, one of the better ways to do it is use one of these. Okay, this is a fire blanket. Okay, and what you want to be doing is put this out. Okay, put the batteries charging in the middle. If something goes wrong, you can literally just fold this over, four corner it, and chuck it out the house. That is my advice. Now, you can charge on a metal surface. That's good because it's not flammable. So if you just want to piss off the other half, just get a big baking tray, stick them on the baking tray for charging. That's always good because there's no way that if one does go, it can take anything else. Okay, so typically I do it on a fire blanket on the side. If I get a problem, I can just whip them out. That's the batteries, by the way. And you can just get it out of the house. Now, I've never today, I say this, and I know it's going to bite me in the ass now, I've never had a problem with the battery going. I know people that have had them where they will puff up. So, if you ever experience a battery that starts to swell, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, this one's looking a little bit fat, okay, and you can feel it. Oh, this one is not happy, okay. That battery is not happy and needs discharging completely and disposing of. If you end up with something like the Phantom 4 Pro battery and these start to swell, the battery is done. Same if it's any of the DJI ones. If they start to swell and you can physically see it, they are done. Okay. Now, DJI are very good because they will have this battery self-discharge after 10 days, which is really good. And you can feel when it starts to happen because the battery starts to get actually warm. Okay, you know, sometimes go to your batteries, if you've not been looking after them right or you've forgotten about it, you'll feel it's warm, it's in self-discharge. Okay, let it finish doing its discharge before you try and recharge it. And that does take us on to battery storage. So, storage of these batteries. You should be storing these at anywhere between 30 and 60%. Now, there are people that are going to tell me it's got to be a spot-on percentage. In all my time, I have always done it anywhere between 30 and 60%. My batteries don't give me, generally, any trouble at all. Okay, only a few of the model flying ones where I'm not always quite as nice to them as I should be. Okay, They sometimes they're not as happy because I'll leave them sat at 20% for some time. But these little fellas, you know, if you're going to leave, if you know you cannot fly for the next few days, I would actually say just flatten the batteries. Now, how do you flatten the batteries? Well, you could always do this. So you can flatten the batteries just by hovering the Mini. It's that simple. So I just hover the Mini in the house. You know, it's crap outside, can't fly, it's blowing a gale. What are you going to do? I just hover it in the house. It's not a problem. It's the Mini. You know, I would even consider doing the 4 Pro inside the house. I wouldn't necessarily fly an S1000 in the house to flatten the batteries, or an M600, or the M200 even. But the little fella, the Mini, just hover it in the house, for example. Phantom 4 Pro. Typically, I have hovered it in the house, but it's not something I do very often because it's a bit big and it's a bit noisy. I just might switch it on, leave it for 15 minutes, okay, and let it do its own thing. Now, there is the bit about flying on holiday. Everybody wants to know about flying on holiday with your batteries. Okay, so your battery, I want to go on holiday. Now, if you're taking the Mini on holiday, you're in for a bit of luck because each airline typically has its own set of rules. So you're going on holiday, first thing to look at is what does your airline allow? Typically, they allow 3 100 watt hour batteries is what they typically allow, and that's come down from ICO, okay, and that's the international. He's going to pick up a piece of paper because he's just forgotten. I know it is the Chicago Convention, so it's the International Civil Aviation Organization. How did I forget that? How did I forget that? I was only teaching this the other day in Europe and I forgot it. Amazing. So it's based on the ICO standard, okay? So they said 100 watt hours and 3 batteries. Now, these are a little bit different. So this is not 100 watt hours, okay? You need a few of these to get to 100 watt hours. But you need to take these on as carry-on. So first thing you do, you're going on holiday, I want to take my Mini. So the first thing you do is actually check for the country that you're going to fly in that you can fly, okay? Already people are going to get arrested, and it's already happening where people think they're going to go and fly for a bit of fun in a foreign country and they get arrested for spying, although they're just having fun. This is because we're thick. Okay, no disrespect to any country around the world or any of us, but each country has its own way of doing things. They don't think like we would, and we don't think like they would. So the first thing to do, you want to take your Mini on holiday, the first thing you do is you look and see, is it worth taking your Mini on holiday? I would not take it to any Arabian country, or Middle East country at all. I wouldn't bother. Would I take it to Turkey? No, I wouldn't. I would not take it to most places in the world, to be honest. My Mini can stay here for me. EU countries, they're generally not so bad. Remember to do your EU A1 and A3 test, which is there. Or there even. So do that. Then you're going to get your batteries. You're going to make sure these are down to at least 60%, okay? And these will be carried on. So you carry these onto the plane with you in your hand luggage. You will put them in a Lipo bag. Now, it doesn't have to be as big as this one, okay? But this is a Lipo bag, and this is for in case this battery has a problem. It's meant to contain the fire, okay? Help contain it, should I say? So Lipo guard bags, okay? So you check where you're flying to. You check what your airline allows. So 3 batteries should be no problem with the Mini, okay, so carry on. Get them down to 60% at least, okay, so they're not fully charged. Make sure you have a Lipo bag. This is what you're going to put them in, okay, one of these. I will put links in the description below on where you can get these, okay, type of bags. You'll put your batteries in your bag. These go on as carry-on. The drone itself could go in the hold if you trust them. Okay. Personally, I would actually carry on the drone as well. Remember, the remote control of the drone also has a battery in it. Okay, and it's Lipo again. So you may want to carry that on as well. Okay, so it's just easier actually to do it with a Mini as carry on. I know people that are taking Phantom 4 Pros, carry on. Its little box will fit in the overhead. Okay, so just put them in and that's it. That's great. Okay, and that's when you're travelling abroad, dead easy. Okay, what fire extinguisher do you need at home? You should have a CO2 or powder. Those two can help you deal with problems with lipos. Okay, do not put a lipo battery in water. It will not stop it at all. What you get is a mess. If you drop a lipo battery into water and it's starting to go, it will still go. You will get flames coming out the top of the bucket by about this much typically, and you get water everywhere because it just spouts it everywhere because it's a chemical fire. Okay, that's a very short thing on battery basics, to be honest. If you want to know what watt hour your battery is, by the way, look it up on the DJI website. It's not hard if you're flying DJI, or you will Google your battery and you'll get the answer. Okay, if you need to know what watt hour. Right, that's a nice quick one for today, everyone. Safe flying, stay safe, and yeah, look after your batteries. Okay, if you look after the batteries, they'll look after you. Cheers.